A night of crypto with Michael Saylor. Everything could change tonight. It's coming just before CPI and PPI. Bitcoin, XRP, it's all on show tonight with a very special broadcast from HC Wainwright, 27th Annual Global Investment Conference on cryptocurrency. That's what we're talking about tonight, and it starts in just 1 hour from now. So get ready for it. Should be a fun evening. So it's coming up very, very shortly. So stand by for the event. Now be very, very careful. Some people are streaming the event from a previous broadcast, and it's not in fact the event at all. There's some channels streaming it now who are just trying to cash in on an incorrect broadcast. And I'm looking at one now that is not good at all. They are broadcasting a previous broadcast from a previous year, trying to pass it off as today. So please stand by. The event starts in 1 hour. We'll bring it to you. I'm looking at several people now broadcasting false events to try to manipulate what's going on. So stand by. We are early. I wanted to be early because I knew people would be trying to do this. So we are giving you the genuine, real deal. You can see down in the bottom screen just there, you can see I'm looking at one particular broadcast right now, which is not correct. This is not actually happening now. It starts in an hour, but it doesn't stop people broadcasting it and trying to make out that this is the actual broadcast. It's not. It doesn't start for another hour. All right. So I have no idea why people do these things. Who are you trying to kid? Anyway, it says there's 15,000 people watching, and there's not. There's nobody in the chat. The whole thing is fake, and stuff like this drives me mad. It spoils the whole crypto space. So stand by. We are waiting for the event. So we'll do live conversation until it begins. We might as well put crypto on the screen right now and focus on it. So I'm trying. There's several people doing it now, and there's just absolutely nothing real about it. Anyway, it's awful, isn't it? Good afternoon, everyone. William, good afternoon to you. Crypto AI, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Yolanda. How are you? Blue Bus Driver, I'm having a great day. I hope you are too. Thank you. Good afternoon, Angie. Yes, hello to you. Seth, good evening, everyone. Nothing like smashing your finger on the doorway, in a doorway just now. Speaking of smash the like, oh dear, I'm sorry to hear that. Good afternoon, Christoph. Hi, William. Hope you're having a blessed day. Hello, Jerry Mandarin. Hello to you. Gold signal isn't good. Gold signal isn't good. No, it shows volatility or uncertainty in the market. That's what it shows. Hi, lovely people. Pascalos, good afternoon to you. Lovely to have you here. So if you just tuned in, we are waiting for Michael Saylor to take the stage. It's a crypto night tonight. We should have an XRP and a Bitcoin audience and Ethereum audience because this is an important event being broadcast, part of the HC Wainwright 27th Annual Global Investment Conference in New York. And I'm glad that you've tuned in because there are loads of channels streaming something that is not real, fake, from a previous broadcast, trying to pass it off as this event. So I'm going to keep repeating that because it's really, really important that you are, watching the right thing and you're in the right place. So anyway, there you go. Hello, Lucas Aids. Hello, says Jenny B. Good afternoon to you. Karen, good afternoon. LP, hello. Nice Coca-Cola trade. Nothing wrong with adding defensives and collecting dividends. Absolutely right. Thank you, Exit Grabana. I'll show you my trade. So this is what I did. So 65 trades, 64 wins. Everything is all good. If I show you what I did, if I go to the S&P 500, I put it on my social media. Of course, I sold a couple 100,000 just about around about the top here. Okay. And then what I did, I bought Coca-Cola at the bottom, right down there, literally right at the bottom. It was perfect. It was simple trade right at the bottom, just there. I'm up slightly on some of the trades. I bought several, and overall I'm down 0.32. So we got maybe 0.5%. It could go lower. Not really bothered because that'll be compensated by the dividends anyway. Nearly $1,000 in dividends I'll be getting in 3 weeks' time. So because I bought some more since I did the calculation, I bought a little bit more. So yes, I did that. I want to be absolutely clear. I've not sold any of my crypto at all, and I've still got a very strong position in the S&P 500. You can see, like, I've still got $224,000. It's not like I haven't got any value in the S&P. Still just under $250,000. But it was the right thing to do. It got over frothy too quickly, and I've taken some money off the top using lots, of course, to get the benefit of not selling from the bottom. And my average, which was 503 or 504, I think it was, has now dropped dramatically to 481. So I can borrow more against it. It's much more secure. And my Coca-Cola is in a much better position because the price to earnings ratio is far, far better. And I'm just, S&P was just getting too expensive so to hold. And when one is like blowing up and one's going down because people are taking money out of Coca-Cola to buy this, then it's a no-brainer to take money off the top. Anyway, we're on standby for HC Wainwright 27th Annual Jet Global Investment Conference. I just want to alert people that there are fake accounts streaming something that is not real at all. So please do not follow these other channels. They're scamming people. It's ridiculous. I wish I could tell people, but they've put it so no one can chat. So everybody thinks they're watching something real. And what they're watching, there's several channels doing it. They're playing you old events. Everything about this is a con. They're trying to get you to look on a barcode, hack into your system, and it's ridiculous because one of these particular channels has got 15,000 people watching. They've only got 7,000 subscribers, so clearly it's a scam. But anyway, there you go. This is always what happens around Bitcoin. Sadly, it's one of the things that really infuriates me with this space. Thomas Morrow, hello everyone. Good evening, Martyn. Looking forward to the next few hours. Thank you, Matthew Wheeler. Yeah, I think we're going to get some volatility. I think that's inevitable that we're going to get volatility this evening. We'll stay on our XRP, our crypto. Do expect to see some volatility because we are just a few hours away now, really, Wednesday, Thursday, from the CPI, PPI inflation data. Then we've got the FOMC report. We've got all these things coming up. And now we've got Michael Saylor talking Bitcoin a couple of days before. So it's all to play for. I can see how XRP could be $10 in 7 days. I don't, of course, know. That's just a guess. But I can see how it's completely possible with so much going on right now in the space. So, yeah, it's an exciting evening. I'm nearly in the money now on my Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. Remember, I bought it from the top. I lowered my averages, and as soon as I get to Bitcoin at 120, I'll be trimming from the top, lower my average, allowing more capital to release my margin and buy more on lower dips. Ethereum, I'm not selling that. It's all staked. XRP, I don't think I'll be selling that either because I might trim a tiny little bit, but that's all for giveaway, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm expecting to be in the money very, very shortly, and that's great. Let's have a look. What else have we got? Next few hours. You said you would have him on one day, and today. Oh no. Jenny B. Michael Saylor's not on the show. I want to be absolutely clear. I've not told anybody Michael Saylor is a guest on my show tonight. I said we are streaming it tonight. Michael Saylor's not on the show. So no, I'm streaming from a special event in New York, HC Wainwright. Others are trying to pretend that he's already on stage, but he's not for another hour. Hello, Martyn. Prayers for you and Leah. Thank you very much. Yes, tomorrow morning we go for our first. operation, surgical procedure tomorrow morning. So there's no show from me tomorrow. Sensei might do a longer show to cover it, but no, I won't be here tomorrow. I'll be with Leah in hospital. Thank you for your support. We were overwhelmed. The number of comments that we've had has been off the charts. Hundreds and hundreds of comments to the live that I put out. Report the streams. There's really no point. It doesn't do anything, actually. It's pointless. Because they're not breaking YouTube rules. They're just broadcasting something. You can broadcast an old broadcast. I mean, YouTube aren't going to tell you off for lying. I mean, if you want to lie, it just makes your channel look the scam it is, but there it is. Hey guys, official demo. Hi guys, how you doing? What country is Martyn in? I'm in Dallas, Texas. My home is in England. My studio is in Texas. That's where I am right now. There's a lot happening. It's all good. Yes, France government has collapsed. It hasn't collapsed. It's just a vote of no confidence in the prime minister. The president, Macron, is still in charge. So the French government hasn't collapsed. That's a bit dramatic. It's a vote of no confidence for the prime minister. There's a lot happening. He's in a spaceship. I am in a spaceship. Speaking on your VU sell, I rewatched your stream and came up with my own decision to keep my position, as I only have one, and at a good position as well, around 480. Just plan to work. That's probably sensible. If you've only got one and you've just got one share and you're holding it, that's not, that's very different. So this is what I'm saying. You can't follow me because what I do is completely different than what everybody else does. It's really important to understand that. I mean, I've got still $250,000 invested in it. So the fact I've sold, some or quite a lot actually is different than everybody else's. So there you go. Sorry. No, please don't apologize. Oh my gosh. This channel, one of them that's streaming, it's got a QR code on the screen. It's trying to get everyone. History rewards those who act first. So people are trying to get you to stop watching this. They're trying to get you just to end up sending them Bitcoin, or if you send us $10 of Bitcoin, we'll give you 10 million back. Oh dear, there's several channels doing the same thing. Also, Martyn, where do we send in the photos and videos, the new mugs we received? Okay, what you do is you go on to Discord merchandise channel. Send them in there and I'll grab them. I'm putting together a library. Breaking, the French government just collapsed. The Prime Minister must now resign. No, the French breaking news. You're not even a member of our channel. You can't do breaking news. Only I can do that. The French government hasn't collapsed. The French government has voted out its Prime Minister of a no vote of confidence. There's a slight difference. Martin Lucas Investor, evening. What's your opinion on BMNR? I've no idea. I've never looked at it. BMNR. Let me take a quick look. I don't even know what that is. BMNR. Oh, Bitmine. Of course, I remember now. I've never done analysis on it, so I'm going to reserve my thoughts on that. Yeah. So no, I haven't got any real thoughts on it. Let me just check something for you. Just doing a little bit of work here. Have a quick look for something for you. Oh, yeah, right. You're talking about Bitcoin immersion technologies, the Tom Lee thing. Yes. No, that's I was thinking of something else. Yeah, I like that. I like what Tom Lee is doing with Ethereum. It's one of the reasons why I started buying Ethereum. He's doing a similar model to Michael Saylor. So I bought Ethereum not because Tom Lee was doing Bitmine, and his idea to build up the same sort of fund. It was because the New York Stock Exchange is running on it or going on it, and the exchange down the road from me in Dallas is also going on it. And on top of that, Robinhood were buying it because they want to put their crypto, their network, they call the Robinhood network, is actually Ethereum. So I actually bought it for that reason. But it's great that Tom Lee's doing it as well. Yeah. Would I buy that company? No, I wouldn't buy MicroStrategy either. I just buy Ethereum or the ETF. I buy both. All right, so let me come back to that. So Danny B, there is my thought. Sorry, I was thinking of something else. Yeah, I like it, but I wouldn't buy it. I just buy Ethereum. Michael Saylor, as a guest, is an easy interview. Just ask one question, why Bitcoin, and leave the camera running. You're absolutely right. I hope Leah gets well soon. Much love. Thank you, Official Demo. Thank you. And so do I. Will you stick with VU next year or pick a new ETF to invest in? I haven't sold all my VU. I'm still in, but I just trimmed, that's all, using tax lots. No, I will remain in VU. I will remain in the S&P 500. Nothing's going to change there. Yeah, nothing's going to change there. That's the biggest part of my portfolio, and it'll grow back to the 90% again. When I trim my tax lots with crypto, any day now, when we get this little rally, the S&P will dramatically go up. When I get my next pay packet, I'll be buying more of the S&P to bring it up as well. So yeah, but I took profit to buy Coca-Cola because Coca-Cola went down and I had profit to use. Good evening, big scam. What are you referring to? These channels that are streaming it? Yeah. There's lots of channels streaming tonight. I can't believe it. It's so frustrating. There's 25,000 people watching Michael Saylor talk on a false broadcast on a channel that's got 7,000 subscribers. I mean, think about it. It doesn't have any subscribers. It's a complete and utter con. The subscribers they've got, they probably bought. They're not real. And yeah, they've got no verification tick like I have. Their channel is not real. They're broadcasting Michael Saylor talking from another event. They've got barcodes all over the screen so you can send them your Bitcoin. It's infuriating to me, but that is what it is. All right. We're waiting for Michael Saylor to take the stage for a real event. This is the real broadcast here. It's a keynote speech, which I have had to register for. It's not on someone's YouTube channel from a previous year. Ask Tom Lee about BMNR. Yes, I know what you mean now. Did you see Russia is warning that the United States will leverage stablecoins backed by treasuries to offload 35 trillion debt, pushing global adoption, then devaluing the dollar? No, I have not seen that. I can't verify that news. We need a vote of no confidence for Starmer now. Yes. Thank you for your thoughts. Thinking of you and Leah. Thank you, David Knight. Cheers for the answer. You're welcome. Sorry, that wasn't. I love Bitmine. I would rather own Ethereum itself. I know you say you can make more money by leveraging, but it's not the way I invest. Jerry, what do you think rate cuts will do to the economy? Do you think inflation will run and the long end of the yield? 0.25% rate cut does nothing. It just tells people that we're now at the end of this cycle, and more people can invest in the markets. More people can start businesses, borrow money, but it doesn't do much for the economy. It doesn't do much for anything really. 0.5%. That does, and then more does. It will encourage a lot more people to want to invest, but it doesn't actually do a great deal for the economy, for the markets. It just ignites the markets. It doesn't change their business plan. What it will do is, the idea is, hopefully it'll improve the job market. It'll encourage new businesses to create new jobs, more people to work. But at the end of the day, if there's no demand for product, if there's no demand for services, just because rates are lower doesn't mean we all rush out and set up businesses and all make successes. So it's very important to remember that rate cuts and rate hikes are done to control an overheating or a cooling market. They don't directly make the businesses do well. You have to have a business that is well run and there is a demand for it. So you can have zero rates and make it free to set up a business and free to borrow money. But if there's no value in what you're buying or what you're setting up, it's still a failing business. All right. So high interest rates don't bother companies like Apple and Amazon and Microsoft and Nvidia. They don't really care that the rates are higher. It doesn't do anything for them. It doesn't really bother them. It helps small caps, but I don't like the Russell. I think it's a lot of rubbish. Most of the small caps in the Russell will be bankrupt in a few years. It's just a really bad place to go. It's like penny stocks. So we don't know. I mean, their Fed's job is a dual mandate for stable prices and a strong jobs market. And relatively speaking, they've done a good job. We can argue they are late. I said in June the rate should have come down. I said to Sensei today, I said, technically, if we get a 0.5%, which is now likely, I'm right. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, I said a rate should have come down 0.25% in June and then 0.25% in September. Isn't that the same result as getting a half in September? The answer is, yeah, actually. Well, of course, I'm wrong because it didn't happen in June, but technically it's the same result. He said, you're always trying to spin it, aren't you? I said, yeah. Hi, Martyn. Hope things are a little brighter. Well, we have ups and down days. We are focusing on every single minute of every day. And right now I'm focusing on doing a show. That's the reason why I put that live stream out for everybody, so I won't have to explain it all. I put one live stream out explaining Leah's situation, and then I don't have to go on about it all the time. But when we stop and think about it, and it becomes difficult, right? But we're just doing what's in front of us right now. France's PM Francois Bayrou loses confidence vote. Yes. And must resign now. Yes, that is true, but it's not a collapse of the government like you said it was. Today, all over X. Well, you say it's all over X, but I see lots of things on X that make no sense. Live statement this morning, Putin's advisor, Kubikov. Yeah, but I have to focus on my members. I'm sure you understand. People just come in and say all sorts of things. Rate cut will allow my business to take out a HELOC on our house for improvements. A HELOC? What's a HELOC? So there you go. That's what I mean. Rate cuts give small businesses the opportunity to borrow money. This is a good thing. However, if you're borrowing money on a broken business, it doesn't matter how much you borrow. It's not going to fix the business, is it? It's like, I don't need to borrow any money. No one can. It's the same reasons I don't sell shares in my channel. I don't need an investment. I don't need to sell shares. I don't need to borrow money. I borrow money to buy stocks, but I don't need money to grow my business. What grows my business is me going live all day, every day. That's what grows the business. Okay, Aaron Jones. We're just going to... Yep, you're hidden from the channel. Great. Well done. Congratulations. Be rude and you get blocked. Stupid, really, isn't it? Good to have you back, Martyn. I've missed you and your great advice in uncertain times. David Knight. It's great to have you back, mate, actually. A lot's changed in the last few months. We hit 100,000 subscribers. We've still got all the balloons up until we get the silver plaque. Look, we're holding all the balloons up, and there you go. We're getting a few HELOC. HELOC, is that how it's pronounced? What is a HELOC? Is that some sort of loan, is it? Just reading some comments here. Thank you, James. Where does the new money come from? Where does the new money come from? Well, there's plenty of money on the sidelines. There's plenty of money available. What do you mean where the new money comes from? People earn it every day. There's trillions of dollars on the sidelines, people with money who don't take risk. I know lots of people with millions just locked up, just sitting there. XRP really going up, and it's good to see. Yes, it's doing rather well, isn't it? It's outperforming other crypto at the moment. Once we get to 340, which we will, I can just trim off the top. And I don't intend to sell XRP. I'll acquire more, and I'm getting more with my referrals, but I'm just going to trim a little bit from the top. XRP really doing good. Not your keys, not your Bitcoin. I don't agree with that at all. I think that's a silly thing to say. It doesn't actually make any sense anymore. It really doesn't. I think it was made up by BitBoy, who basically is now a drug addict, an alcoholic, cheated on his wife, lost his YouTube channel. It's nonsense. If you don't own the keys, you don't own Bitcoin. It's actually rubbish, because BlackRock own Bitcoin and they don't own the keys. So lots of people own Bitcoin who don't own the keys. So yeah, it was a silly Bitcoin phrase made up that makes no bloody sense. It never did make any sense. And people like to say it as if it's some sort of secret code. It doesn't mean anything at all. Home equity loan. Oh, is that what it is? Okay, thank you. Truly appreciate your thoughts on VU, Martyn. Thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, VU is the best way of buying the S&P. I mean, it's better than SPY. Only microscopically different, but it doesn't really make a difference, really. You won't notice it. The average retail investor will never, ever, ever tell the difference. But VU was designed for retail investors to buy the S&P for a reason, and it's the right product for the right, for that person. HELOC weren't they the bad people from the machine? The time machine. I ain't got a clue, David. I don't know what that is. HELOC. Home equity loan. Oh, I see. HELOC. Oh, I see. Home equity line of credit. I've got you. Now I understand. Okay. Now it's all coming clear. XRP holding strong. It wants to break the $3. Hope it will tonight. Yeah, I'm expecting it to. I totally agree with that. Once it does, it can go very quickly up again. They take the value of your home, and you can take a loan using the equity, and whatever the current loan rate is, it's an open-end loan. Oh, I see. Thank you for that. You can report that. I can report what? What, the channel that's streaming with? No, you can't. You can report it, but it doesn't do anything. I mean, it's like you reporting me now. Martyn Lucas is an idiot. You can report that if you want. Martyn Lucas is a liar. You can report that. It doesn't make it true. It doesn't do anything. This particular channel. Oh, they got banned from YouTube. Yay. They got banned from YouTube. I love it. Look at that. There you go. They got banned. What a shame. Oh dear. They got banned from YouTube. Trying to stream something that's a con. I love it. There you go. Oh, the video's unavailable. Well, what a surprise. So I'm sure some of you in the back of your mind were thinking, is Martyn right? Is this really a bad stream? Video unavailable. Oh, there you go. Oh, what a shame. Great. Well, the real Michael Saylor and the real broadcast, guess what, folks, is here. I take my my verification tick very, very seriously. It was given to me by YouTube because we are accredited, we are official, we are genuine and authentic, and we also have 100,000 subscribers. And if you've not yet seen our little tick, this is why we have it, and I take it seriously. We are, see that look, just up there next to the R, investor, there's a little tick. You also see it when I say hi in the chat. You will see next to my name from YouTube, I have a tick. Can you see it? Hi in the chat, you'll see a little tick. This is because this channel is real, genuine, honest, authentic, and it's the official channel. It's important to me that. I take it seriously. So we're on standby. We've got, I can't believe there's 22,000 people watching it. Can you, I mean, can you believe it? Why would the 22,000 people watch a seventh? See, again, folks, you have to remember this. There were 22, it says 22,000 people were watching, but they weren't. They were buying fake views, fake subscribers. So it's not really, but people watch it and go, 22,000, it must be right. Martyn Lucas got 100,000 subscribers doing the same thing, and no one's watching him. So Martyn Lucas is an idiot. This channel's much, much better. But you see, this is the real audience for it. Anyway, I reported it. It does something. Well, it doesn't really, Jerry. It got taken down because of YouTube as its own ways of measuring things. People can say all kinds of stuff about all kinds of people, and it doesn't make any difference. Anyway, I'm glad you did report it though. Obviously worked, didn't it? Let me just go back a little bit. Home equity, XRP strong, yes. Yes. Yeah, you can, of course you can report it. I'm just telling you it doesn't work. It didn't go down because a couple of you reported it. I'll tell you this for a fact because I have people every day that report my fake accounts on X. There are people that's every day create fake accounts on me, X, Instagram, all over the place. And they report them all the time. Oh, it's this person's copying Martyn Lucas. Doesn't do anything. It does it when I do it. When I report it, because I report it differently. When you report it, you just go, this is a fake account, blah, 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 blah. When I report a fake account, I upload my driver's license, I take a photograph of my face, I do all kind of things to verify that I'm the real person. And because I'm verified and I've got the ticks, that actually works. It gets deleted instantly. Well, I say instantly, it takes about 12 hours. But it's good that people report it. But yeah, I'm just saying, it doesn't have as much effect as you think. Why don't you buy SCHG? Why? Because I'm very happy with VU. It's the best way of buying the S&P 500. What are your thoughts on using cold wallets for storing? Yeah, it's okay. I don't think it's completely necessary. I think it's a big marketing campaign to get people to fear things and get them to spend money on things that you don't even know are that secure anyway. A lot of it, you'll lose your pass key, you'll forget how it works, or you'll lose the device itself. A lot of crypto gets locked up like that because people just lose their keys. So I'm not a great fan of it. I can see why it's a good idea. However, humans make mistakes and do all kinds of things. It's not that effective. But how do you even know if that device is going to work? How do you know if a ledger, which is regarded as the best, even is as secure as you think it is? You don't know, do you? So I like to buy. I've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, and crypto on my account. I am fully aware of the risks, but I've got half of it, more than half of it actually, on ETFs. They're all backed by FDIC insurance and everything else, and they're all in custodians, so they're all safe anyway. So I think it all just gets unnecessarily complicated on and off wallets and on and off different devices. What's your thoughts on using cold wallets? I just answered that one. If you just tuned in, we're waiting for Michael Saylor to take the stage for the real, genuine broadcast. What you've been, if you've been watching another channel a few moments ago, it was a con, and I can't believe you fell for it because they've got barcodes on the screen telling you to give them Bitcoin. The stream wasn't even live. There was nobody really in there, apart from a few people. The whole thing was a scam, but people fall for it, sadly. So anyway, I'm waiting for Michael Saylor to take the stage. We've got 20 minutes to go. Not your keys, not your bit. Andreas Anotopoulos is credited with popularizing the phrase. I've never heard of him. I'm sure he wasn't the first. The difference between a home equity loan and a HELOC: when a HELOC is loaned out, as soon as you pay, you can borrow the same amount right after. A home equity loan loan closes the loan when paid. Oh, I see. That makes sense. That's useful then. What's going on with crypto hack currently happening? What's going on with the crypto hack currently happening? The crypto hack? What do you mean? There's no crypto hack going on. There's just idiots watching idiots pretend to stream Michael Saylor. If you watch that stuff, then I'm sorry, you deserve what you get. I'm not being funny. It's bloody obvious it's a scam, because the event doesn't even start until in another 20 minutes. But yet there he is on the screen. You've got barcodes to sign up for some scam. Well, this is a conference. It's not a sign-up deal. There's no send me your Bitcoin. I mean, if anyone ever asks you to do that, it's not. I mean, how common sense is that? I mean, when do I ever say send me your Bitcoin? I mean, and the channel's got 22,000 people watching it with 7,000 subscribers. I've got 300 watching me, and I've got 100,000 subscribers. This is real. This is the real audience for it. Most people don't care about this sort of broadcast. A few weeks ago, I broadcast what was it? It was MicroStrategy's conference. Hardly anybody watched it. It was really important. People don't watch the important stuff. So when you see 20,000 people watching, they've just paid for the views, paid for subscribers. There's probably about 50 people getting scammed by it. That's the reality of it. So anyway, wouldn't apps get hacked and your crypto would get stolen if you don't have the keys? Well, no, not necessarily. No. I mean, when people say, oh, if you don't own the keys, you got no Bitcoin. Oh, all right. Well, you still got to have the key. You still got to know what your seed phrase is. It's just not a utopia of perfection. Things happen, and people can just steal your device just as easy. They can steal your stream key just as easy. What's the difference? Oh, well, it's on my ledger. Well, they steal your ledger then, don't they? What's the difference? And there's nothing on the ledger. It's just your keys. But if they've got the seed phrase and they can get in, they can do the same thing. It makes no difference. It's like, having a bank account and having physical money in your pocket. Well, if you've got money in your pocket, they take your money. If you've got a bank account, they take your bank details. It's the same thing. It's just a different version of the same thing. Wouldn't apps get hacked and your crypto would get stolen if you don't have keys for your crypto? Well, this is a silly conversation. Let's not have this conversation. Yeah. Known for his books, Mastering Bitcoin. Thank you, Jerry. I reported it. It does do something. Well, it's not because you reported it, Jerry. It didn't go off YouTube because you reported it. It's not how YouTube works. Stable coins are the US government's way to bypass sovereign governments to get 8 billion to buy bonds through Tether. Okay, that's a bit deep. At zero interest paid. At zero interest paid. What is? Octo up 5,000% today. Is it? Should we have a quick look on the crypto bubbles? Octo. I don't see Octo on here. Is that a crypto coin? I see MYX up 296% in a massive bubble. That'll pop in a minute. And it'll go to zero in 10 seconds. You wait. Seen this happen over and over again. What makes me laugh is, who the hell is holding at 300% up? Think about that. No value. Serves no purpose. You're up 300%. It's been like that all day. Any minute, that'll go to zero. Why on earth would you be up 300% and say, oh, I'm holding? What the hell's that? I mean, you've made 300%. You've made basically 21 years of the S&P 500. Oh, it's not enough. I want some more. It's got no value at all. Oh, it might go up another, it might go up. It's up 300%. Anyway, Michael Saylor on standby, 15 minutes. Let me go and refresh the screen and let's see if I've got anything. We have to wait on standby. There's no information, very little information, folks. There's scammers pretending to broadcast this stream all over the place. One of them just got shut down. HC Wainwright and Co. are doing a terrible job announcing it, by the way. I'm just saying they're absolutely rubbish because on their actual website itself, they haven't even put a link for it. So they are selling tickets for the in-person event. They don't actually want anyone to actually watch it in person. Sorry, online, which is bizarre. But there it is. I'll show you. This is their website. They're selling in-person tickets. It's a 3-day event. But nowhere on their website, I've been looking all day, nowhere on their website can you get the link to the online event. Oh, I've got it because I got friends. I've got the link, but nowhere on their website are they giving it out. So how this YouTuber got it earlier when he's making it all up is beyond me. So anyway, we are on standby. I've got the official link. This is the only link in the world. You can't get it anywhere. The keynote. All right. This link doesn't exist anywhere. Anyway. Stand by. We are just in a waiting pattern at the moment. All we can do is wait. Yeah, there's no this link that we've got doesn't exist anywhere. Good job, I got friends in it. You and Leah are both in our prayers. Thank you so much indeed. Yeah, we won't be with you tomorrow morning. Going to hospital tomorrow morning to start procedures. Tether is 0 rate bonds for the great unwashed. Okay. Robbie C. Whisper is 75 points to spook markets and make Trump look stupid. Whisper is 75 points to spook markets and make Trump look stupid. I've got to be honest, I don't really know what you mean. Is Ethereum going to rally soon? I can't say. I've got no evidence of that. I only know what's happening, who's buying Ethereum. I only know what's happening with XRP and Bank of America. I don't know everything, and I don't know anything other than what I've already told you about Ethereum. I know it's being bought by Robinhood. I know it's being used by the New York Stock Exchange. I know it's being built into the system down in Dallas, where I live, into the exchange. But that's all I can tell you. We're 10 minutes away from H.C. Wainwright, Michael Saylor speech, and this could affect crypto tonight. So we are waiting to see what happens with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP tonight. You can see there they are. Look, Ethereum is going down, but that doesn't concern me at all. Bitcoin is holding up. XRP is outperforming everything today. It's done very, very nicely. I'm going to come back to my main portfolio. I've got another great day, making a couple of grand a day at the moment. I sold my S&P to buy Coca-Cola, and I'm very happy I did. So we're in a holding pattern right now. Coca-Cola is now building a base. Again, I don't really care what the chart says. I understand what the CEO is doing with the company. So, and I also know about the litigation. It's an overreaction at the moment. Wouldn't be surprised if Warren Buffett buys more Coca-Cola because he's coming out of Heinz. Think about that. And if he does, Coca-Cola is going up 10% overnight. Think about that. All right, so there you go. A little top tip there. Do with that as you will. Hello from Tennessee. Southern Belle, good afternoon to you. We got another lady join the show. Southern Belle, we have 30% ladies watch this channel, more than any other channel that covers crypto. They're most 1%. So lovely to have you here. Thank you very much. This is the best channel by far, authentic, genuine, and brought to you by an honest man. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate that. Yep, I got my tick from YouTube, and I'm very proud of that. What do you think Apple will do, Martyn? Hope you both get on well tomorrow and kick this illness in the face. Much love from home in the UK. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. Yeah, I like that. Kick it in the face. Bloody right. That's what I told Leah. I said, this cancer has taken us both on, not just you. And I never give up. What's happening with France? All that's happening with France is the Prime Minister has been voted out for no confidence. The President, Macron, is still in charge. We've had people come on today and say the French government's collapsed. No, it hasn't. Just get out of work. There we go. Not your keys, not your crypto refers to custodian your own crypto. Not your keys, not your passphrase, not your crypto, not your own custody. I understand that, Ben, but it's nonsense. It's nonsense. We don't need to spook people out. It just gets people to fear crypto. It gets people to buy devices they don't necessarily need. I haven't got time to go on about the whole debate. If I had time, I'd go on the whole debate with this, but we haven't got time. This whole industry is based on shadows and dark spaces, and it absolutely flipping bonkers. Telling people, oh, no coins, no keys, no cryptos, absolutely rubbish. Institutions, pension funds own the ETFs. Here we go. We're starting to see my Coca-Cola go up now. This is what I told you was going to happen, and it's happening. There we go. I sold the S&P at the top today and did about 150,000. I thought it was 200 grand, but it wasn't. It's about $150,000 today worth of the S&P sold to buy Coca-Cola, and we're just starting to get that uptick now. There you go. That's my overall portfolio. So, you will have to wait till 110, as that's the norm. You'll have to wait until 110,000. Not sure what you mean. Bring them on over here, says the Point Church. Good evening, Martyn. I was late home from work. Adam, well, you're here now. Welcome to the show. Bernstein evaluated bullish at $60. Is there any truth to that? Bernstein evaluated bullish at $60. You can't value bullish. You can't value bullish. How can you? It's not had an earnings report yet. I was happy paying $37 for the IPO, but you can't. Until I see the books and the accounts, I can't do an analysis. There's no way I can measure it, so I'm not. Anything would be a guess. And that's it. It's a guess. Anyone's telling you they can value bullish is talking nonsense. There's no publicly available books. There's only private books, and I don't have access to those, and no one has access to the public books until they publish them in 3 months' time. So I cannot give you a number. Martyn, what are your thoughts on Flare? I don't know much about that one. That's the expert on that one is Sensei. He'll be live in the morning doing an extended show, as I won't be here, as I'm taking Leah to hospital to start our cancer treatment. Even if it's 2,000, the channel rocks. Thank you very much indeed, The Point Church. I used to own Doge and Shiba on the app Voyager more than 4 years ago, and the app went out of business and took all the coins with it. Yeah, it made no difference what coin, what keys you had or didn't have, would it? Unless you took it off the exchange, of course. I understand that, but Doge and Shiba have no value anyway, do they? They're just completely gambling, speculative speculative coins. I'm very sorry that you lost all your money, though. That's a terrible thing. This is the reality of crypto, I'm afraid. A home equity line of credit. Thank you. A lot of people are explaining this to me now. I appreciate it. What time does the event start? In 7 minutes' time. We are waiting now. We are waiting. Thank you for tuning in. We are waiting for Michael Saylor to take the stage. There is nobody else streaming this because nobody else has the link. I have a private link sent to me. It's not who you know. It's not what you know. It's who you know, right? You cannot find this link anywhere. All right, the link that I have got here. So anybody who's streaming on YouTube now with Michael Saylor on the screen is trying to get you to scan a QR code to send them your Bitcoin. This is the only real broadcast of it, and it's scheduled to start in 6 minutes. And there's nothing I can do until this stream goes live. All right. We are in a holding pattern at the moment. We're waiting for Michael Saylor to take the stage. There is nothing at the moment that I can do. I'm waiting for this link to go live. Even if you go on to HC Wainwright's annual investment conference, there is nothing there. There is nothing anywhere. All right. I've been sent this link, and because of that, I'm able to bring you this event. All right, so we're waiting, and it's scheduled for 5 minutes from now. That's all I can tell you. Oh, I'm loving this. My Coca-Cola is going up really quickly. I'm loving it. Keep on going. Keep on swimming. Keep on swimming. You should see my overall portfolio going up now. There it goes. It's that little jump there. So the question is, was I right to sell the S&P? We had a vote earlier. It was nearly 50-50, but I was right because Coca-Cola is underpriced, undervalued, good macro conditions. The reason it's oversold because of the tax investigation, which is no big deal. It's all in hand. And people sell Coca-Cola to simply I don't know why that wasn't there. There you go. They simply buy Coca-Cola, sell Coca-Cola to buy assets that are rallying. Basically, think of it as a piggy bank. So today, the S&P rallied and rallied and rallied way beyond 27 times earnings. So I thought I've got to trim off from the top, not from the bottom. Of course, I want to keep my shares from the bottom. I sold from the top. So when we dip again, I can buy them down there again. And I bought Coca-Cola. Now remember, you never sell anything or buy anything until you know where the money goes next. So both ends of the curve were in. I could sell at the top and buy at the bottom, so it's perfect. There were ledger hacks mentioned today. Yeah, people hacking ledgers. There you go. Herlock is a second mortgage. Happy Monday, JJ 8-Ball. Bernstein says it's going to be number 2 behind Coinbase. Something on Sui was hacked. Is that right? That's not good, says Chris. Not BitBoy. If another party holds the private key, you aren't the sole owner of your assets. You don't have to be to be able to benefit from it. Your keys, your Bitcoin, not your keys, not your Bitcoin. It doesn't really make any sense. I understand it perfectly well, but it doesn't make sense. Not really. I haven't got time to go on about that now. Put your crypto in a mason's jar and bury it in the back garden. Put your crypto, well, you can't, can you? How can you put your crypto? It doesn't exist. It's code. Exchanges no, they don't. Exchanges insure you. No, they don't. Exchanges do not insure your crypto. SIDC, SHID, whatever it is, like banks and stuff. No one can insure your crypto. That is not true at all. Can't do that. What do you think about the Gemini IPO? Yes, I'm very interested in it. Last night, Hood missed entering the S&P, and Friday she's got in. Yeah. We got a new member.
Ray Reynolds has become a member.
1 month. Thank you very much indeed. Right, we're 2 minutes to go before the event starts. If you allow third party to hold your Bitcoin, however, that is done. You'll risk losing your Bitcoin. Look, you're not going to sell me. I'm not trying to, you're not going to get me to go out and rush out and buy a ledger or a wallet. I've had one. I sold it to one of our members before. I've got no interest in buying another one. There was JavaScript crypto supply chain attack today. That was what was the question about. Oh, I see. James, chill. Yeah, he just keeps going on about it all the time. It's like, you're not going to, I'm not bothered. I'm perfectly happy where I am. MYX follows no rules. Hi, Martin. When the crypto markets rocket, and instead of sending to the exchanges from the cold wallet to sell for fiat, do you think it would be a good idea to swap for USDT? If you don't want to sell, I guess. Yeah, it's not a bad idea, is it? If you can swap it, but it still acts as a trade, though. I'd like to know from the jury is out on this. Is it still a taxable event? I would say it would be. Just because you're transferring it, I would say it's a trade. Anyway, I don't know. Octo is on Robinhood. Thank you, Brandon. What are you thinking on the Gemini IPO? Gemini IPO, yes. I wouldn't be buying it, though, only because I'm fully invested. Although I trade crypto, let me get to the bottom. I'm running out of time. Okay. The event should start in any moment now. So let me refresh this. It says come back at this time. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. There is no other event anywhere. This is the only event available. All right. This is the only event available. There we go. Here is the real broadcast. Here we go. There we go.
Michael Gayhart donated €10 through a super chat.
There you go.
FDIC insurance is a form of deposit insurance provided by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation.
But I must admit,
FDIC,
as a Bitcoiner
which
and a covering
protects
analyst on
depositors in
strategy
case of a
stock,
bank
I'm a bit
failure.
biased. I'm Michael Aneze, Managing Director and Crypto Analyst here at HC Wainwright, and I am very excited and honored to introduce our special keynote speaker for today. He is the founder and chairman of the world's first and largest Bitcoin treasury company, Strategy, a company that has accumulated nearly 640,000 Bitcoin, worth over $70 billion in just 5 years. And he probably purchased another 5,000 this morning before the event. Since launching its Bitcoin strategy in August of 2020, his company has generated significant shareholder value, with MSTR outperforming Bitcoin in every stock in the S&P 500 over the period. Our speaker was a true visionary, recognizing and harnessing Bitcoin's value as a treasury reserve asset long before it was popular to hold on your balance sheet. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the pioneer behind the Bitcoin treasury strategy, the Bitcoin maxi of Bitcoin maxis, a man who needs no introduction, Michael Saylor.
Okay. I'll forgive you for not wearing an orange tie, but we got extras on our company store. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to speak a bit about commodities. I'm going to speak about equity. I'm going to speak about credit, I'm going to talk about how to create a huge amount of shareholder value and what I find to be most exciting in the coming 4 years. Well, let's start with the commodity, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is digital capital. And in the years 2020 to 2024, those were the crazy years where a few people would have agreed with me. Most people didn't agree, and even more people didn't even understand what that phrase meant. I think that from 2025 to 2029, these are going to be the years of rapid institutional adoption, acceleration. And if you had to put your finger on one catalyst for it, it's that man right there. The red sweep in November catapulted the entire crypto economy into the mainstream. The headwinds that were blowing in the face of Bitcoin and crypto in general became tailwinds. We had a president that said, never sell your Bitcoin. I'm going to make America the Bitcoin superpower of the world. I want us to be the crypto capital of the world. I would say that the world view toward Bitcoin was grudging acceptance before November. I'm going to let, Gary Gensler would have said, I'll let it live. I don't like it. I can't kill it. I acknowledge that it is not a Ponzi. I hate everything else. And after November and after these sweeps, the view became, oh, Bitcoin is a crypto commodity. We like a lot of things going on in the economy. We like 24/7, 365. We like stable coins. We like crypto exchanges. We like money moving at the speed of light. We like self-custody. We like property rights. We like digital. We like global. We like the future. This is a force of progress, right? The entire attitude switched from one of grudging acceptance to one of enthusiastic embrace. We had one cabinet member a year ago that would have acknowledged Bitcoin exists as a thing, and every other cabinet member would have been ignorant, skeptical, or cynical. Now we have 12 cabinet members who are enthusiasts. They like it. The head of the FBI likes it. Think about the fact that Tulsi Gabbard is a Bitcoin fan, or Kelly Loeffler, or Robert F. Kennedy, or the vice president and the president. This is an extraordinary sea change. Maybe I don't know when in the history of the capital markets you went from people not acknowledging the legitimacy of an asset class to the entire cabinet enthusiastically embracing an asset class, right? That's happening, and we're not even 12 months into this. The White House is embracing crypto, and it's embracing Bitcoin, and it's driving positive policy all throughout the government. The ETFs that Wall Street launched, not even 2 years ago, are the most successful ETFs in the history of Wall Street. We've got 1.5 million Bitcoin held on those ETFs. That's exploding. BlackRock's IBIT is just an explosive phenomena right now. I think it's like the number 4 ETF. In 4 to 8 years, it could be the number 1 ETF. That's how fast it came out of nowhere. Our company was the first public company to buy Bitcoin in August of 2020. We bought $250 million. People fell off their chair, thought we'd gone insane. That was the most amount of money had ever been invested in a crypto network in the history of the world. I didn't know that. It just seemed to me like it was a good idea for us, and so we moved. But then it was 2, and then 4, and then 20, and then
Please
40.
tap the like button and consider subscribing. Thank you.
And we're up to 180 publicly listed companies. So the last 12 months has been explosive. Even the past 6 months has been explosive in terms of public company adoption. This morning, we announced we bought $217 million worth of Bitcoin. I didn't feel like it was a lot. Last week was a 4-day week. 4-day week. But keep in mind that we spent it took us 30 years to buy $250 million in August. And so it gives you a sense of scale and how things are moving. This chart gives you another view of this. What's the significance of this? Okay, well, here's the significance. When your best friend decides they want to buy Bitcoin, they sweep 10% of their cash flows into it. When a private company wants to buy Bitcoin, they sweep half their cash flows into it. When a public company decides to buy Bitcoin, they become a viral super spreader. Metaplanet was a $10 million bankrupt hotel chain in Japan a year ago, and they have found a way to buy $2 billion worth of Bitcoin in like 12 months. They may be the largest hotel company in the world in another 24 to 48 months. They may be the largest company in Japan in 4 to 8 years. What you've got with a public company is public companies aren't limited to, oh, I only spend $100 million a year. I can spend $100 million a month and double it every month, right? Once, it's more like, you know, I start a fire and I throw it into a gasoline warehouse and the thing becomes self-feeding and it just takes off. So every single public company could become a $1 billion, $10 billion, or $100 billion amplifier, right? They're all amplifiers of this movement. And that's the part that is so incredibly powerful. There's probably nothing more powerful than putting a commodity, capitalizing a public company with a commodity, and then having it public and then plugging it into the capital markets. Because at that point, the company begins to issue securities, whether they're equity or credit instruments. And that's a rinse and repeat trade, right? How much equity capital can you raise? Well, our company had, we started with a $250 million buy and we raised $47 billion in 5 years. So, you know, what is that? Well, I mean, at this point, we raise more capital in a day than we could have generated in earnings in a year, right? You're accelerating by a factor of 100 or 1,000. Which one of these companies will do that? Well, there's no telling, but the point is they're popping up in the UK, in France, in Sweden, in Brazil, in Japan, in Canada, everywhere. And each one is a different capital market, and each one of these is a super spreader of the Bitcoin virus. There's a Bitcoin 100 now. Companies are racing to get into it. We just crossed 1 million Bitcoin in that group. And that's going to probably accelerate. A lot of the companies on the left side of the screen, 21, Bitcoin Standard Treasury Company, they're Nakamoto, they're all coming out of de-SPACing processes.
That's interesting.
And they've been in
bullish
registration and kind of dormant. Once they get through that process, they go active.
That's
and
interesting.
at that point, they can start to issue effectively unlimited securities of equity or credit instruments, and they become amplifiers.
I've got nearly one.
Now, if it turns out there's 180 companies holding Bitcoin, then you got to imagine all the equity analysts start to have an opinion on Bitcoin. And so this is a roundabout way of getting Bitcoin coverage in the traditional equity capital markets. And every one of these analysts is covering our stock and putting a price target on Bitcoin. They're all above 150,000 for the end of the year. Thomas Lee declared 200,000 for the end of the year this morning. Tech investors, Philippe Lafont has designated Bitcoin like the number 3 interesting tech idea in the world. It used to be, before 2020, people thought, well, Bitcoin, it's a crazy crypto speculative asset. And as long as people think of it as a crypto casino speculation, it's never going to get respect to the mainstream. When you start to look at it as digital capital, I took $1 billion block of gold, I dematerialized it, I moved it at the speed of light, I vibrated 1 million times a second, and I distributed it through 1 billion microprocessors. That becomes very interesting to people that made billions of dollars investing in Google and Apple and Amazon and Facebook. And of course, where is all the money in the world? A lot of the money in the world is people that bought the Mag 7 at the right time. So Bitcoin as a technology is much more compelling than Bitcoin as a speculation or even as an ideology. Financial regulators have now embraced it. It wasn't 2-3 years ago that the regulators summarily assassinated Silvergate and Signature Bank. They murdered those two banks, right? There's nothing wrong with those banks other than they were actually too crypto forward and too innovative, and they got shot in the head. That chilled the entire banking establishment, the credit establishment, the insurance establishment. When my company bought Bitcoin, our insurance carriers dropped coverage. I had to provide D&O coverage for my company because we were deemed too risky. It took us, when we had $50 billion of hard collateral, they still thought we were risky. And it took about 5 years before that turned again. So it's pretty important. I can't overstate how important it is that now you have the head of the FDIC, the OCC, Treasury, the Federal Reserve, all articulating pro-crypto, pro-Bitcoin guidance. This opens the door for the traditional finance establishment to bank the asset class and to support the asset class. And you can see from the guidance coming out of the SEC, this is a 180-degree switch. You've got the CFTC and the SEC, both pro-innovation, pro-Bitcoin, pro-digital assets. And we've gone from an environment where people were mortified to do anything to an environment where they're enthusiastically charging forward. Bill Pulte directed Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to accept Bitcoin or figure out how to accept Bitcoin as collateral for a conforming loan. Okay, this is tremendous, right? If Bitcoin makes its way into the mortgage credit industry, the mortgage industry, then what follows next is it finds its way as good collateral in the consumer banking and the commercial banking industry. And they ask the question, like, what's keeping Bitcoin from flying to 500,000? The answer is there's $2 trillion worth of Bitcoin capital gains, and people with that money can't get a loan for a nickel. Okay, so that entire asset class is unbanked. It's like your employees on a startup made $2 trillion and no one will give them a loan, so they have to sell some of their stock. So what you have is a lot of crypto OGs selling Bitcoin right now because the asset is not really financeable. That's changing, and it'll probably take, I guess, 4 years. Big banks are bureaucratic, risk-averse institutions, and they're large institutions. And look, I don't blame them for being risk-averse. If the regulator literally murdered Silvergate and Signature, I can see why you as the CEO of a bank might be just a little bit conservative about touching that thing, right? The tone at the top was chilling a few years ago. And this administration has gone out of its way to actually reverse the polarity on that.
Please tap the subscribe and the like button. It'd be much appreciated. Thank you.
I mean, the Genius Act is passed. The Clarity Act is this fall, and then the Bitcoin Act. The real key here is this is a very pro-crypto, pro-digital assets, pro-Bitcoin political environment. There's no reason to think that will change in the next 4 years. And what's 4 years mean? Well, we've added about $2 trillion to the crypto economy in a few months. From November, we went from 2 trillion to 4 trillion or something. I would think that we're staring at a 10 to $20 trillion industry by 2028. The genie is not going to go back in the bottle. There's no way you put a $20 trillion industry. You got 40, 50 million Americans that own this right now. Give it 4 years with the flow into 401ks and retirements. Substantially I will go out on the limb and say, substantially every American with assets is going to own some amount of crypto exposure, and they're going to own some decent piece of Bitcoin by 2028. I find it hard to imagine where it will be hard for them not to, You know, the CEO of Vanguard became very famous for saying he didn't think Bitcoin was an asset, it didn't generate cash flows, and they wouldn't let their clients buy it. Do you know who the largest shareholder is of my company? Vanguard. Okay, so you think about that a little bit, right? Kind of hard to stop an idea whose time has come. States are embracing it, and governments are embracing it. This is just going to get louder. And the crypto industry in general, it went from a lot of infighting to being largely aligned at this point. And I think there's an appreciation amongst the crypto networks, the token, the DeFi, the crypto exchanges, the Bitcoin advocates, that the entire industry is better cooperating with each other than they are fighting with each other. And following November, I just saw a remarkable alignment of interest and a coalescence of a formation of a coalition. This coalition, the entire crypto industry, is probably the most powerful political actor in the space right now, because they can marshal something like 50 million voters, and they're just so distributed and diffuse in their influence, and also very aggressive in driving this forward. So the entire industry has become very politically active. Now, that's the backdrop, right? As you can imagine, I'm bullish on Bitcoin. I'm bullish on the entire crypto industry. I'm bullish on digital assets. And I think that there's a surge globally, worldwide, and there really isn't, I don't see any organized resistance at this point, right? There are just various degrees of bullishness at this point. People that don't have anything good to say generally just say nothing at all. They've learned not to walk in front of this truck. There's no upside in standing against this. So I think it's just about the most positive environment that we have seen in the history of the industry. Now, what is our company? We are a new class of company, a treasury company. Now, what's challenging for people is wrapping their head around a Bitcoin treasury company, and that's because Bitcoin is a new asset class, and treasury company is a new corporate type. Now, why is it though, you know, what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is the first digital capital. It's the first perfect money. Well, we never had perfect money in 10,000 years of economic history. The Austrians never saw it. The libertarians never saw it. The political scientists never saw it. You can't blame them for not factoring into their thinking. They just never saw it because it was impossible to create until you had semiconductors, public-private key cryptography, and the internet. So Satoshi, like Galileo, you know, Galileo came up with a telescope. You know, we have a telescope, and all of a sudden the Copernican revolution is afoot. Well, we needed Bitcoin for there to be that monetary or capital revolution, and that's what Bitcoin is. And most of the world still doesn't get it, but that's good, because the way that you make 10 to 100x your money is to figure something out while the majority of the world doesn't agree with you or doesn't get it. When they all agree with you, it'll be a not good investment. It'll be a mainstream investment. You need to be right, but you need to be just early enough that 95% of the people think you're wrong. That's how you make obscene amounts of money. So, I mean, that's Bitcoin. But we put together two novel ideas. Treasury company. What is a treasury company? It's a company that accumulates capital and then issues securities against the capital, especially issuing credit, right? What do? We're selling credit. Right? What does a bank do? A bank buys credit. A bank is basically buying your mortgage. We are reversing it. We are creating securitized Bitcoin. We're selling an annuity. When you buy Stretch, which is like a 10% annuity, we're selling you the annuity, or you buy Strife, we'll give you 10% at par forever, and you're buying it from us. Now, how are we promising to give you a dividend for 100 years? That's a long duration liability. We need a long duration asset. So Bitcoin is a long duration asset, right? You would want to hold it for a decade. It's high volatility. It's long, call it 120-month duration, 50 vol, 50 ARR. It's a very powerful financial asset, but most of the world doesn't want 120 months of duration, and they don't want 50 vol, and they don't want years where they get nothing and years where this year we got 100%. They don't want that. So a treasury company sits between that uncertain, long duration, highly volatile, high energy future crypto economy. And they strip it down and they give you a 1 month duration, 10% yield, low vol, low risk financial instrument out the other end. You're securitizing digital capital or securitizing digital property. Why is it that's never happened before? Why isn't there a Magnificent Seven treasury company? Why can't you do this with Apple and Tesla? It's because the SEC 40 Act made any company holding more than 40% of its liquid assets on its balance sheet an investment company. You cannot lever 100% or 150% the balance sheet of a publicly traded company in the United States with securities. There is no S&P treasury company. There is no Mag 7 treasury company. There is no Tesla treasury company. Would there be a market for it? If it was legal, absolutely. What I'm doing, what we've done, you could do with the S&P, but the challenge is not in the current regulatory environment. So public companies since 1940, call it, for the last 85 years, they have had to either surrender their capital, they can give it back as a dividend. There's only one security that Apple can buy. One security. It's called Apple. They can buy their own security. They can buy back their stock. They can dividend out their stock. They can hold short-dated treasuries, money markets, or 1 month treasuries or sovereign debt. They could buy real estate or gold, but that's illiquid. Or they can do some acquisition. But you see, what makes treasury companies possible is the creation of a commodity, because you can hold 150% in commodities or 100%. A commodity that outperforms the S&P, that is the magic trick. Like, I can create a digital commodity that's garbage. If I were to inflate Bitcoin 27% a year, every year ad infinitum, it would be a commodity, but it wouldn't be a good investment. The world's full of commodities that are bad investments. In fact, arguably every commodity other than gold has been a bad investment over the long term, over 10 years. So you need a commodity. It needs to outperform the S&P, and then you need to be able to lever a public company. Okay, so when did you know for sure that that was going to work? Well, arguably after November 5th. Right? So the reason this is exploding is because you had to be a believer in August of 2020, but all you have to do is be a reader. You just need to read the press and listen to what people are saying in the last 9 months to know that you can actually do this. And a public company levered on a commodity can arbitrage the return of the commodity versus the cost of credit or the cost of equity. And you can do it in an almost, I'm not going to say risk-free, a very low-risk way. The most intelligent way to generate leverage on a good idea is a public company issuing instruments like preferred shares or some kind of long-dated public debt. It's a much better idea than, say, a margin loan from your local crypto exchange. So we've raised $47 billion of capital over that time frame, most of it equity, a little bit convertible bonds, and about $6 billion is preferred equity. And you can see it's every single quarter we're building up. We have a little bit more than 3% of all the Bitcoin in existence. Clearly, we believe in the network. We're basically ratcheting the network up. And as we buy Bitcoin, we take it out of circulation, and then the price has got to move up so that people can find a willing seller at a much higher price. Now, these are all the greatest companies in the world. We have come out of nowhere in 5 years to be the 5th largest treasury in the entire S&P. Why? Because we are positively polarized to capital. They are negatively polarized to capital. If you talk to the CFO of any of those companies, with the exception of one, Berkshire Hathaway, the only company on this chart where the guy that runs it would say, I'm going to keep my capital and invest it for the good of my shareholders, is Warren Buffett at Berkshire. Everybody else would say, we're going to return the capital to the shareholders. We have a capital return program. We're raising the dividend. We're raising the buyback. And they crow about it like it's some achievement. But I hear them say it, and what I think in my mind is they're saying, we have no frickin' clue what to do with the money.
That's true.
We don't have any idea, and so we're just going to give it back to you. You figure it out. I'm like, really? You have no idea. Okay, well, it's okay to surrender the capital unless you're Intel and you need it. You know, it turns out that companies like Intel and DuPont, they return the capital to shareholders. They're worth less than the dividends. Like, do you really want to run a company where you basically cashed out and you eventually dwindle to nothingness while you leave a stream of dividends and buybacks in your wake? And it's like ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Why do companies die? Why do you have a 10 to 15-year life expectancy for a corporation? It's because of their financial practice. It's because they're surrendering their capital as fast as they can. If I bled you to death, you would die quicker. Like if I showed up at family, Thanksgiving dinner and I said, I have a great idea for the family. Let's give away all of our money so that our balance sheet isn't volatile. I mean, that's kind of what's happening here. And you'd be like, okay, well, great. I guess someone else will figure out what to do with all of our money. But what if our family needs the money? Don't worry, we'll just work harder, raise our prices, and cut our salaries to our employees if we need the money. Because that's what they do. So that's not a good idea. And the real revolution here is, what if we actually replace share buybacks with Bitcoin buys? What if we actually stopped dividending out the cash flows? What if we reinvested the cash flows? You're like, well, I can't do it in money markets. You're right, you can't. What can you do it in? You need something that outperforms the cost of capital. If you find that if I can return more than the cost of capital, I can in theory raise infinite money. If I return less than the cost of capital, I can in theory raise no money, right? I'm either beating the cost, I'll give you infinite, or I'm underperforming, I'll give you nothing. All these companies have chosen a balance sheet strategy to underperform, and therefore they deserve nothing. They have to give it all away, right? They're just levering themselves until they're $20, $30, $40 of enterprise value for $1 tangible assets. What happens if you have a bad quarter? Well, you know what happens. Stock crashes. We raised $22 billion last year, $19 billion this year. We're doing it with a variety of different instruments. Right? It's ironic. It's not lost upon me the irony that every great company in the world is in the business of getting rid of their capital as fast as they can, and we're in the business of collecting it. What if the collective geniuses running all those other companies reversed the polarity and started collecting it instead of throwing it away? My job would be a little bit harder, right? But right now we're literally siphoning up the capital that's being pushed into the economy by them. We did 4 IPOs this year, and we did the biggest IPO, which was Stretch, a few weeks ago. And, well-run companies only do 1 IPO. My first IPO was like $35, $40 million, right? And it was pretty hard. This one was really easy, right? And of course, the irony is, what would happen if a Tesla, or what would happen if an Apple or a Microsoft did an IPO today? Right? It would be massive, but they're not doing that, right? Again, they're not in the business of issuing securities. They're in the business of buying them back. We are building markets for our securities. So one market is institutional active investors. Another is passive investors. The third is retail investors. So the retail channels for our retail demand for our securities really dramatically increased with the last IPO. I think we had really about $600 million of retail demand in 2 days. And so we're building that retail business. This chart probably is the most important chart I'm going to show you today. If you just bear down on it, The cost of capital for the past 5 years is 14%. That's the S&P. Long-dated bonds are minus 4%. That's why every bank was in trouble financially when the Fed raised interest rates. If you had short-dated money like money markets, you're probably getting 2%. If the cost of capital is 14, then all the capital you hold is minus 12% real yield. You're destroying 12% of your treasury a year. That means in 5 years, right? Cut it in half. Bitcoin is 55%. You know, the Mag 7 is double the S&P. Bitcoin's double that. And our company's, you know, about 80% more. But what's the opportunity here? Well, the opportunity is you fund your company with the cost of credit down here or with the cost of equity, and then you invest it into the digital ecosystem, into Bitcoin, and you just grab the spread. And you can do that effectively risk-free. For example, we have a product Stride, STRD. We pay 12%. It's a non-cumulative preferred. We'll give you 12% ad infinitum. We buy Bitcoin. It's a perpetual swap. We're going to get everything more than 12%. We'll compound it. You'll get to 12. We could sell $100 billion of that. We could sell $1 trillion of that. Why? Because it's non-cumulative and we could suspend the dividend and we never repay the principal. So you've created, as a public company, a risk-free, unlimited, scalable swap. But it, you know, to the extent that Bitcoin performs at the S&P or better, it's a screaming winner. You know, Bitcoin could underperform the 12%, and by selling the volatility and utilizing the float, we would still make money on it. But if Bitcoin performs more than that 12%, then we start to compound at a extreme rate. And that's the kind of instrument that you can't make unless you're a publicly traded company and you can issue securities. So our business is let's outperform Bitcoin, and then let's find a way to tap into the right side of this chart. You can, by the way, you can see why there are no gold treasury companies or real estate and gold are hard is because they don't outperform the S&P. It's a little bit challenging, but to the extent that you make money in real estate, you can see the way you do it is you lever it 4-to-1. Right? When you look at that chart, if you can lever real estate 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 4-to-1, 5-to-1, 10-to-1, right, then you could probably make money. Nobody's figured out how to lever gold. This is the last year. And you can see, you know, Bitcoin's up 100%. How do we measure success? Well, our business is to generate additional Bitcoin per share every year. So if you're buying strategy stock, you own a certain amount of Bitcoin, and then we add more. Last year, we added 67,000 Satoshis per share. And then this year, we've added 41,000 Satoshis per share. So you're making money by increasing the Bitcoin per share, and then the Bitcoin price is going up. But ultimately, the difference between a Bitcoin treasury company and a Bitcoin ETF is an ETF like BlackRock's going to have a certain amount of Bitcoin and you'll lose 20 basis points a year. That's the fee. You're never going to have any more. But an operating company, you'll have a certain amount of Bitcoin and then you'll have more each period thereafter. And we call that increased BTC yield, Bitcoin yield. And so this year to date, we've had 25.8% increase in Bitcoin per share, right? Our target was 25% for the year. You know, so if a company said, well, we're going to increase the share of Bitcoin, the amount of Bitcoin you have per share by 25%, and then you would think, well, it's worth a premium to the underlying asset. So you're valuing the company at a premium to the reserve because it is accreting Bitcoin through its operation. For the longest time, ExxonMobil was valued at a premium to its oil reserves on a similar logical basis. Here's a snapshot of our business model. On the left side is the crypto economy. We start with Bitcoin. It trades 60 to 70 billion a day. It's this long duration, volatile, high energy, high performance, very scary asset, and it's global, and it doesn't stop. And the traditional finance economy doesn't want it, can't buy it. What they want is they want an equity or an option or a credit instrument in a wrapper that they can deal with. So if you buy just wrap Bitcoin, you're buying IBIT, which is BlackRock's big ETF, and that's been very successful. But what you'll get is the volatility, the duration, and the performance of Bitcoin. What we've done is create credit instruments that strip the vol, strip the duration, strip the risk, strip the performance off of it, and we sell that as convertible bond or a convertible preferred or a fixed long duration preferred or this stride instrument, which is a non-cumulative preferred, or the latest thing we did, which is stretch, which is a money market. What's the idea? Well, Strike is structured Bitcoin. I'm going to give you the upside, downside protection, and a guaranteed dividend while you're waiting, right? So think of it for more conservative investors. They don't want the roller coaster ride. What they want is like a guaranteed 8.4% yield, and they want to be senior over collateralized in the capital structure, and they want like a 35-40 delta instrument. They'll get 40% of the upside of MSTR stock, but they won't be getting the downside, and they give up that performance for that principal protection. What are we competing against? We're not competing against a company. We're actually selling this to people that would otherwise buy the S&P index, or they'd buy commercial real estate, or they'd buy into a hedge fund. So Strike is that hedged upside with an 8.4% effective yield, and you could buy that instead of buying real estate, and you can see the performance and the size of the market. It's a $90 trillion market. I mean, people just kind of want some hedged upside and a guarantee. What's interesting about this? What's interesting is we can create billions and billions of dollars of this instrument. Right, we're not just selling it; we're originating it. We're backward integrated. So when you buy into a real estate fund, they have to go and develop the property. When you buy this instrument, we create it in seconds. Right, so we can create it 1,000 times faster. It's all homogeneous. So digital credit, right? What's Strife? It's long duration credit. It's like a perpetual bond. And so if you want a certain yield, you want 9% yield for the next 100 years, that's what you want. That's, it's effectively 12, 14-year duration, which means that if SOFR dives, you're going to want to own this because this thing is going to be yielding 9% when SOFR is 2% or 1%. So it's like 100-year bond. Way over collateralized, 7.6 times over collateralized in BTC. A mortgage-backed security is 1.3, 1.5, right? So the perception is these things are risky, but the reality is they're not, they're the most over collateralized credit instruments in the market. Who are you aiming that at? Well, we're aiming that at long-dated investors, most of whom are looking at a 4 handle, 4%, 5%, 3%, and we give them 9%. If you're that long-dated credit investor. Stride, it's high-yield credit. So we're aiming that at the junk market. It has a 12.7% effective yield, but it's nearly 5x over collateralized. So loan to value would be like 20%.
Sold the S&P at the top.
$5 of Bitcoin for every
Coca-Cola
dollar
at the bottom.
Asset that's issued.
Another perfect trade.
If Bitcoin were to crash
7 trades
80%,
today.
you're still collateralized.
All of which winners.
If you think Bitcoin's going to go to zero,
Boom.
you don't want to buy any of this stuff. But if you actually think Bitcoin is just volatile and it may go up and down, then all this stuff is within your wheelhouse. What's the universe of comparable assets? Well, there's $2 trillion of money invested in closed-end fund, high-yield corporate bonds, preferred stock ETFs. And you can see, for the most part, the liquid things you can buy are 6 or 7 handle. We're offering 12. And what is Stretch? Stretch is the most aggressive piece of financial engineering we've done, because with Stretch, what we did is we took that 120 months of duration to 1 month. And the idea was, I don't want volatility. I don't want principal risk. All I just want is something that pays 400 basis points or 500 basis points more than my bank account, and I want the money back when I ask for it. High yield bank account, high yield money market. So we target price stability 100%. And of course, if you walk down the street and you say to 100 people, do you want a 30-year Bitcoin bond that yields 9%? You know, you get like 1, 2, 3 out of 100. But if you say, would you like a high yield bank account that pays you 10%? Well, that's like 95 out of 100. Everybody wants their bank to pay them 10% instead of 4%. So this is a much simpler idea. To do it, we had to create a completely variable monthly rate. And this, for the most part, is like the first time anybody's done this on a crypto asset. There might have been one company that created a variable rate in the last 30 years. But this is fairly innovative to create a preferred stock where the dividend rate changes every month. No one else had a reason to. In essence, we're becoming like the central bankers of the crypto economy. We're creating a currency, we're setting the rate for the currency, and we're pegging it to the dollar. Right? And that's what's going on here. So if we trade below parity, we'll raise the rate. If we trade above parity, we'll lower the rate, or above par. And what are we aiming at? Well, we're aiming at $30 trillion of money market type instruments, right? Your bank accounts, your money market funds, your short-term treasuries, your commercial paper. And what are they yielding? 4% in the US right now, but probably not 4% for much longer. They'll probably be with a 3 handle shortly. So this pays 2 to 3 times as much. You just have to believe the Bitcoin's not going to zero tomorrow. This picture shows you the engineering we've done. What you can see here is that MSTR has got a 56% trailing vol. That's the high vol equity. That's the highest performance security. That's the roller coaster. That's Bitcoin with rocket fuel. Strike is 37 vol. Strife is 27. Stride is 20. Stretch is 14. They're still in the first 6 months. It's the first year, so we're seasoning them. But our goal is to season them and then move Stretch down to below 5. Right? We want to get all of these to like fall into the right price performance volatility category. And over the long term, we've laid the framework so that we can build out the entire yield curve and the entire risk curve. So if you studied, the insurance business, and thought about, or the mortgage-backed security business, you're tranching risk and you're tranching duration. We could create a preferred that would give you the yield with a trailing 12-month delay, and it becomes a perfect 12-month instrument perpetually rolling forward. And we create a perfect 36-month instrument just rolling forward perpetually each month. Right? And so if you want to create a perfect 1-year, 3-year, 5-year, 7-year, 9-year, 10-year instrument, you can do it on this framework. And the beauty is they're very precise, and the credit risk is substantially, I don't know if I want to say an order of magnitude less, but it's some large factor less than using a bond, because bonds come due, but perpetual preferreds never come due. And you can see the effect of these. We take them public. We put a shelf registration on them. This is our preferreds versus the liquidity of all the others. You can see most preferred stocks are illiquid, right? They're illiquid, under-collateralized, opaque, heterogeneous credit. Why would you want to buy it? The answer is you wouldn't, and so people don't. But what if they did, right? What if we created one that was not defective? Right? What if we created a $50 billion preferred that traded $2-3 billion a day, and it actually offered 400 basis points more yield? Well, why wouldn't you want that? Right? And this is the collateralization of preferreds. And you can see here, most stuff is under collateralized, and we can over collateralize because of Bitcoin. If you look at the ETF environment, you see handles of 6 or 7. Now, it's very difficult to pay much more than that when the source of your credit is real estate or corporate junk or unrated corporations. But the source of our credit is digital capital, and my long-term forecast is about 29% a year for 20 years, my bear case is, better than the S&P. So we actually can offer much higher rates without concern. Let's look at the universe of comparable assets. So you look at treasuries or agencies or investment grade bonds. You can see collateral coverage 1, 2, 1, 1, 4, right? They're all under collateralized. The durations, if you want long duration, they're not long enough. If you want short, they're not short enough. If you want liquidity, you can almost never get enough. It's very difficult to get the right combination of duration, liquidity, and yield. But you put all those things together, and all of the volatility and the performance we strip off the credit instruments accrues right to the equity. So that's how we create amplified Bitcoin. And the results speak for themselves. We've got a 92% a year return for the last 5 years running. And that's allowed us to create the most vibrant options market. That's what allows us to generate the overall return. It's what allows us to attract capital. And what's the target for the equity? Well, we target the S&P 500, the Mag 7, people that love Bitcoin. Well, what's better than Bitcoin? More Bitcoin, right? So you like Bitcoin, maybe you buy the Bitcoin spot. And what's the result? Well, we're up 16% year to date, 181% in a year, 92% every year for 5 years. How does the amplification work? Okay, so I have 200,000 Satoshis a share. If I did nothing, if the company stopped, if we all went on vacation, we've got a $72 billion business growing 55% a year. That's what the business is. We'd keep that Satoshis per share. But if we issue credit to lever it up 10%, if we basically issue $7 billion worth of credit on $70 billion of Bitcoin, you can see the Satoshis per share start to accrete. When you crank that up to 20%, you go to $15 billion, then it accretes much faster. And if you get to 30% leverage, and you could do 30% leverage pretty easily with preferreds, even without risk, because the preferreds never come due. So you're actually on the hook for the dividend, but not for the principal. So you can see here, you get an amplification factor of 2.8. So you're getting, on the back end of this, 2.8 times more Bitcoin than you started with. If you put these into tables, what you can see is that when you run with 30x leverage, if Bitcoin grows 30% a year, you're going to actually get 3 times as much as if you held the underlying ETF. So what's the source of the premium?
If you wish to become a member,
the credit amplification.
Here is the link.
Where does the amplification kick in? Well, this is kind of, you'll recognize this from the banking model if you understand banks and how they use preferreds or any kind of levered finance model. The amplification kicks in as you get more leverage. It kicks in if the underlying Bitcoin grows faster because you're compounding that. It kicks in if the dividend rate falls or the cost of capital falls, right? If you're a Meta Planet and you go to Japan and you issue a preferred stock in Japanese yen at 5%, you're going to get a lot more leverage, and you're going to get and you'll get more amplification. You can see it here, right? You go from 10% to 5%. You go from 1.9 to 2.3. And so what you can see here is that by using intelligent leverage, you can find a way to generate 2, 3, 4x the normal Bitcoin performance. And that just leads you to the question of credit risk. Like, what is the risk? So this is a credit model. This is actually the capital structure of our company. And what we've done is created a model. We put it on our website. You can run it. Just go to the credit tab of strategy.com. You plug in the price of Bitcoin. It updates every 15 seconds, by the way, and you can overwrite it. You can plug in your expected volatility and your expected Bitcoin growth. And if you're a skeptic, you think Bitcoin's going nowhere for 100 years, then you would plug in 0%. And what you would see here is that all the convertible bonds are investment grade in terms of their risk, and then half the preferreds are mezzanine, the other half preferreds are high yield. But when the volatility falls from 40 to 35, you can see they all start to get upgraded. And if the vol falls to 30, and Bitcoin trailing 30-day vol was 30, just a few days ago. If the volatility of Bitcoin falls to 30, you see that the credit starts to improve on all these, even if you're a skeptic about the future of the asset. So the inputs are the price, the vol, and then the outlook. Now, if you're not a skeptic, if you're a trader, if you think Bitcoin is as good as the S&P, but a bit more volatile, you can see most of this stuff starts to look investment grade. All you have to believe is that Bitcoin is as good as the S&P for you to engineer all of these things and find what are extraordinary spread premiums, right? Like just extraordinary. If Bitcoin goes up 20% a year, you see all the risk gets stripped off of this, and the fair credit spreads fall to a few basis points. And that's what the market doesn't quite appreciate yet, but that's the opportunity. As credit rating agencies get involved, as people start to look at this, this is digital credit. Think about the difference between digital credit and real credit. If I show you $100 billion of mortgage-backed securities and there's like 100,000 different homes and there's all these tranches, it's all heterogeneous. But when I show you Bitcoin, you're getting a quote everywhere in the world, every second, 24/7, 365, it's all transparent. So in the digital credit world, there's no reason to wait for a year for a credit rating agency to write a report and deliver it to you. You can literally plug in your own outlook and generate your own risk profile and make your own decision. And so this is, to say it's an order of magnitude more transparent might be an understatement. Now, if you're a maximalist, if you believe in Bitcoin, i.e., someone that holds our equity, when you plug those numbers in, even in a volatile environment, what you see is the risk drops away and every single thing on this table becomes investment grade. Now, you might say, well, yeah, Mike, but if I believe in Bitcoin, I'd only buy Bitcoin. Well, not quite, because there are a lot of Bitcoin believers that need money for the next 12 months. They have a treasury. They have working capital needs. They have families. They have to pay their kids' tuition in the fall. So they believe in Bitcoin, but they still need instruments that are more stable than Bitcoin. And there's a lot of Bitcoin maximalists, believe it or not, that run credit funds. They run equity funds. They run fixed income funds. They run credit funds. They work for a living, and in their case, they'd like to buy something with this kind of exposure. And when they look at this, what do they see? You see Stride showing an 868 basis point spread premium. That's mispriced risk. That means you're getting paid 8.6% for no risk. If you had a fund and could invest in that and you believed in Bitcoin, then that's easy money for you. So from our point of view, it's not complicated where we head. What we do is we gradually just park the preferreds above a hard capital layer of Bitcoin, and then we build the equity out. We equitize the convertible bonds over time. So the converts, half of them are in the money. So we'll just let them become equity because they don't trade in the public market. And we build up the stack of preferred instruments and we grow those instruments. We become the leading issuer of Bitcoin-backed credit, right? And just as an interesting thought experiment, what happens if we equitize all the convertible bonds? And this is a skeptic looking on our preferred stack after the bonds disappear. And you see the top two preferreds look investment grade. What happens when you're a trader and you think Bitcoin's going up 10% a year? They're all investment grade. And then what happens next? Well, then you can go to 30% leverage or even 50% leverage. So you see, how do you get to 50% leverage? You have 100 billion of Bitcoin, you issue $50 billion of preferreds. The 50 billion never comes due. You got to come up with $3-4 billion worth of dividends. The company trades up to 250, 300 billion. You dilute 0.5% or 1% a year. And you roll the thing forward, the equity holders get 2 to 4x Bitcoin return. What's the risk? Bitcoin crashes. There's no credit incident. There's no credit risk in it. This becomes an extremely robust or anti-fragile balance sheet. So I'll end just with a few thoughts. Why do we trade at a premium? Why do we exist? What is the logic of a Bitcoin treasury company? Well, it starts with credit amplification. You need an operating company to sell credit. The world wants credit, right? The credit amplification gives the equity 2 to 4 times the performance of the underlying asset. That creates the options advantage. You end up with a much deeper, more vibrant options market. Then you're able to tap into passive flows and institutions. Now, how important is that? These are the global credit markets. Take a look at that. 75, $90 trillion. You get 4% yield in the US, you get 2% in Europe, you get 1.5% in Japan, you get 55 basis points in Switzerland. The credit markets are sick, like they're not healthy. These people are yield starved. It's getting worse, right? So selling the credit is like, well, how much are you going to sell? Well, take 1% of that is $800 billion worth of credit instruments. So the market is massive there, and they all want to be paid 400 basis points more than that number. How important is passive indexed money? There's $17 trillion of capital in passive funds. 85% of it is equity indexes. 15% is credit indexes. Nobody thinks that long-term capital is investing in a commodity index. The commodity index funds are 0.1%, 10 basis points. That is to say, every commodity other than gold or silver is a dog. And anybody in gold or silver is not in an index fund. They're in gold or they're in silver. So what's the significance of this? The indexes, the credit index need to buy credit. The equity indexes need to buy equity. There's $17 trillion. This is my shareholder space. Look at the top 100 shareholders. 57% of the shares are held by passive indexes. So Vanguard, BlackRock, 2 of my 5 biggest investors, they're passive. They're not active. Only 43% of those shares are held by active managers. Now, that's just a sample of the top 100, but the top 100 cover 46% of the company's shares. What that's telling you is there's going to be a substantial flow of credit and equity capital to Bitcoin treasury companies because this is not going to unwind itself. People aren't going to wake up and say, oops, I think I should just not allocate to the S&P or the NASDAQ 100. So this is structural. And this is structural. If you look at managed capital, 60 trillion is credit, 35 trillion is equity. Only 3 trillion is commodities, but the commodities are mostly gold held by central banks. They're not selling. So ultimately, you have maybe $700 billion of capital that might find its way into a commodity like Bitcoin. The world wants equity and credit. And the only way to create equity and credit is to take an operating company public, build a huge capital base, a big equity base, and then start to tranche off, BTC 10 rated, 5 rated, 3 rated instruments. And, have you ever seen like a big block of lucite and a computer generated milling machine? You put your image into the computer and it mills it out of the lucite. You get this beautiful sculpture. That's what I think when I think about what we're doing. We take a block of digital capital, Bitcoin. We take digital intelligence and we design a preferred security. You tell me what yield, what duration, what kind of risk, what collateralization, what do you want it to look like? And we generate the digital credit from the digital capital. We sell it to the market, and we can sell it as much as the market wants to buy. You want to buy 500 million right now? I sell you 500 million right now. I will create it on the fly. You want to buy 5 billion? You want to buy 50 billion? Right? We have certain rails, like, at some point we'd be under collateralized. So I can't just, slam it to a BTC rating of 2 overnight if it's supposed to be a senior instrument. But to a much greater degree than any issuer of credit in the modern world, Bitcoin treasury companies, especially a well-capitalized one, can create the most compelling high-performance credit instruments and do it fastest and quickest. And that's what the market wants. So I'll just end with this slide. Our principles are simple. We buy Bitcoin, we hold Bitcoin, we're exclusive. We want to be homogeneous credit risk. We want to be homogeneous in our capital strategy. We prioritize long-term value creation for the equity. So everything we're doing, I hold the equity, look out 10 years. Is this a good idea for 10 years from now if I'm an equity investor? We ask that question. We treat all of our investors with respect. If we told you we're going to do something, we do that thing. We structure the equity to outperform Bitcoin. You know, if we can do 2x, we'll do it. If we can do 3x, we'll do it. If we can do 1.5x, that's what we'll do. And then we continually acquire Bitcoin as long as it's accretive, right? There's none of these transactions are ever dilutive. We're always generating yield. We're always selling securities at a premium to the underlying asset NAV. And then otherwise, you know, week by week, day by day, we react to the market. The credit markets, the macro markets, they're changing all the time. They can change from the morning to the afternoon. I've seen them change from the point that Jerome Powell starts a press conference to when he finishes answering questions. They'll go this way and that way twice. We're reacting to that all the time in all of our capital programs. And, you know, ultimately, we don't have to do anything. We have the option to just do nothing for 3 months or 6 months. And if we did nothing, we have a $72 billion company growing 50% a year, which is just about better than anything else I've ever seen in this market. So our default is not bad, so do no harm. When we see an opportunity to do something good, we do it. And in the meantime, we promote global adoption of Bitcoin as a Treasury reserve asset. And why? Because I think all the companies in the world are type 1 diabetics. I think they can't retain their economic capital or energy. And if you want your company to live forever, or you want to live healthier or happier, then you want a capital asset that allows you to retain your cash flows and grow your shareholder value without surrendering capital. It's a very simple idea, but it's a powerful idea that'll work for a private company or a public company. And if you've ever seen a great company brought to its knees and torn to pieces because it was undercapitalized, or you were on the receiving end of that situation as an investor or an employee or a customer or a constituent, then you understand what I mean. And so with that, I want to thank everybody for your time and your attention. Appreciate it.
Okay, I wonder if we're going to go have questions. I don't think so. Looks like that was the end. Yep. That certainly looks like that was the end. All right, there you go. Now, that was a private link. That was not available anywhere. We did see a few people broadcasting false information get shut down on YouTube. It was not correct. You couldn't find that on H.C. Wainwright's website. It wasn't available. It was a private link. I was able to get that. So good stuff. Yeah, this was the event itself. There's nothing here to get the link from. And people were making this up on YouTube and just broadcasting old speeches of Michael Saylor and putting QR codes on the screen. You just witnessed something that was private. So there you go. That was a ticket event, and we was able to bring that to you. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up because I've got to go and spend some time now with Leah. There will be no show from me tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, Sensei will be going live with the breakfast show. There'll be no opening bell show because I'm taking Leah to start her surgery with her cancer treatment tomorrow morning. So that's what we're doing. So thank you for your support. We appreciate it. And we'll be back possibly tomorrow afternoon for the closing bell. I'm not sure how long things are going to take, but I won't be back in the morning. Have a wonderful day with Sensei. I'm sure you will. I believe we've got some information for you to follow this up. So I'm just going to check and see if it's now available. I've asked Sensei to put something together. for us. So stand by. I'm going to do this right now. Yes, it is done. So let me just set this up then. So please bear with me. I'm just going to go and check a couple of things. Sensei has done a few things for me. Just going to make sure that this is all done correctly. Okay. Sensei has put together an event to send you all to. So yeah, just bear with me as I do this. It'll take me a couple of seconds.
There's a lot of IPOs we're covering next week, so keep an eye out on this channel. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the like button. We'll be covering every other IPO and ifcrypto.com IPOs as well. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.
Okay. I'm just seeing how Sensei's done this. All right. That down there. I'm just I'm going to give you an event to look at. This has just been recorded. I've got this just given to me. Just doing this now. I should have been doing it throughout the show, but I was paying a lot of attention to what Michael Saylor was saying, so I wasn't doing it. I should have done it throughout the broadcast, but I wasn't. Anyway, so what was out 20 past? So if I do that now for 20 past, here we go. This is at 4:20. We'll call it 4:20. There's 2 10-minute videos to give you all the information that you will need for today, preparing for tomorrow. This has just been made. You've not seen this. There's that one. Okay. Thank you.
Louis donated $2 through a super chat. Thank you and best of luck on your wife's treatment.
Thank you. Much appreciated. Okay. I'm just preparing this. Something for you. Okay, that's fine. Let me check this one.
To cover all of that, make sure you're subscribed. Go check out the newsletter. And
okay, that one's good. So if you just stand by just for another couple of seconds, this will be good to go. And got an event here that you're going to enjoy. These are 2 10-minute videos. So okay. Good. Schedule. Okay, they're all set now, and I'll do comments and questions in a second. Just please bear with me. So I'm now going to, this event will take you through to the first one. Let me get it up on the screen. These are just 2 very short videos that Sensei's recorded for me to go here for you now.
Matt Dillon donated $5 through a super chat. There must needs be opposition in all things, but Leah shall prevail and the 2 of you thrive together.
Thank you, Matt. It's very nice of you. I appreciate that a lot. It'll be a tough day tomorrow. Just it's a leveler, isn't it? Anyway. When that's showing up. Come on. If I'd done this throughout the show, I would have missed what Michael Saylor was saying, and I wanted to understand what he was trying to say. It's complicated stuff, though. Makes your brain hurt. Here we go. I've got 8 minutes. I'm doing this specifically in order. Just bear with me a second. I'm nearly there. Okay, so there are two events. Here was the first one. This goes live in 7 minutes. Big week ahead. Klarna, Gemini, and Crypto.com. And then that's for 10 minutes. And then straight after that, so I'm going to put a little like on that one. And then straight after that one, you get this one, Deal or No Deal, XRP and China. I thought you'd enjoy this one. So let me do this. So next goes in there. Let me pin that to the top. Don't worry, you got time. It's not going to start yet for another 6 minutes. That one goes there. Okay. And then I'm going to get that one there, and then this one. Goes to here. This has just been sent in, so this is brand new. And next. Got 4 minutes to go before it starts, so I'm just going to be in time. Okay, I've done all that stuff there. Now I've got to send this show to it. So this is next. That's it. And click that button there. I've got 4 minutes. Save that. Okay, done. Let me give you this in the chat. My portfolio, Bitcoin's going up at the end of that conference. So is my main portfolio. It's interesting. Is all crypto moving? Yeah, all moving. All crypto is moving up at the moment. That's nice. My portfolio is going up. Am I now making money in Coca-Cola? Just right on the button. Next. Put that there. Okay, I think everything is done. So what we're going to do now is end this stream. There are two events. They are 10-minute videos each. Here is the first one, getting ready for the IPO week. Crypto.com, Gemini, and Klarna. Interesting. I'm sure all these will pop, actually. I'm not taking part in any of them, though, because I'm fully invested. So I'm not buying, or I'm not looking to buy any of these. I might, actually, for a bit of fun, I might try and buy a couple of shares each just for the sake of it. I don't know. I'm not sure I will. Not really much point, is it, really, buying 1 or 2 shares? But anyway, that is what's happening in 4 minutes. Then this will run for 10 minutes. And then you've got China with Deal or No Deal with XRP. This is an interesting one. $100. What do you make of that? I'm looking forward to seeing what Sensei's come up with on this one. So there are 2 back-to-back videos, okay? You've got the link for the first one. It'll automatically take you there. It's in the chat. It's pinned to the top. It'll take you there. I will come to comments and questions because I've got literally 3 minutes. So I'm just doubly checking that I've done everything. I'm sure I have. And once again, I thank everybody for their support. There'll be no show from me in the morning. I'm taking Leah to the hospital, and I will hopefully see you back in the afternoon. I'm not sure what time, and we've never been through this before, so okay, I think we can wrap this up. Let me do a couple of comments and questions. Let's have a look. You deserve outpatience. What a gift. I'm not sure I know what that means. Good luck. Thank you, Susan. We hope you don't get mad at us cutting up during these things. Not at all. I enjoy the conversation. I have a little idea of what Salesman was saying, but it was fun to cut up with the aides. Absolutely. No, I love the fact the aides. I love it. The aides. No, I think it's great that everybody's in the chat having fun. It's engagement for you guys. It's fine. I don't mind that at all. I notice as much of it as possible. Wishing Leah and you the very best for tomorrow. Positive attitude has been proven to be effective outcome in treatment. Groups help my sister-in-law a lot. Questions answered outside hospital. Thank you, James. Thank you. I don't know if I need to trade 1,000 NVIDIA for Bitcoin, like Jensen, better than Michael. You aren't doing it, bro. MSK, I want to thank you yesterday for the super chat that you gave Leah. I don't know if you know this. When you did it, you made her cry. She was sat on the sofa. We were watching the quiz with Sensei and Sensei Sunday show. And when you'd said, can you hold on a second? I've got something to give to Leah. It made Leah cry. So what we're doing, it was very much appreciated. After surgery tomorrow, all being well, on the way home, we're going to stop at a Starbucks and have a coffee on you, MSK. So thank you very much. And I think it was $20. We're going to get a coffee and a cake. Hopefully Leah feels fine to do that. So that's the plan. So thank you for that, MSK. It was very nice. Careful calling him a salesman. You might offend him. Sending prayers. Thank you, Billy. Stay positive with Leah. We're all behind you. We know. Yes, we've been blown away by the amount of comments below the video. It was somewhere in the region of nearly 300 comments below that live stream I put out. I couldn't believe it, and we've read them all. So, meaning us, and apologise that we've not replied to them. It's just too emotional to reply to them. We've just read them and put a heart on each one. Meaning, take your time, appreciate the private stream. It was a gift. You're welcome. Yeah, this was a private event. No one was covering this. If you go on YouTube and type this in, no one covered it. No one. It's amazing, isn't it? That Bitcoin people didn't cover this event. People just don't do the boring stuff. I like the boring stuff. It's where you learn. Anyway, that's why we do things differently here. Didn't mind waiting. Thank you. All prayers and love to you and Leah. Thank you, MSK. Prayers for Leah. Thank you, Mike. Right, that's it. The event is now starting. 2 10-minute, very short videos that Sensei has prepared. Each one will take you to the next one. I think you'll enjoy it, especially the next one. This is the IPO information, preparing the charts for Gemini, Klarna, and Crypto.com. And then you've got XRP information. All right, 2 back-to-back videos I think you will enjoy. So there you go. Here is the link for the first one. It's pinned in the chat. It'll automatically take you there. I will see you back when I see you. Should be tomorrow. We don't know. We'll see how things go. Thanks for all the support. It's very much appreciated. And just a tip for Leah. Orange juice an hour, 2 hours before treatment. Docs won't tell you this, but it works. But it does. Thank you. At 1970 Buckley. I'll tell Leah that. Great job, MSK. Respect. Prayers for you both. Thank you. That's it. Enjoy the premiere. I'll see you back when I see you back. Sensei in the morning. Enjoy these 2 premieres. That's it from me. Have a wonderful evening. And I'm glad you all enjoyed this. And please be careful when you see these things streaming. Others try and do these things and they're just non-verified accounts. We have our very proud YouTube tick, and so many people try and scam people. There's no QR code on the screen. You don't send anyone your Bitcoin, just information. That's it from me. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.